Hello, welcome to this video where we will be addressing shoulder health, and let's go ahead and get started. So Ian, if you want to lie down. So find a comfortable reclining position on your beam. Make sure the beam is centered on your spine. You can have your knees bent or legs long, and decide where you'd like your arms, palms resting on belly or arms out in a T. And notice the beam along the length of your spine. And with each exhale, allow the spine to heavy into the beam. And allow the muscles on either side of the spine to heavy into the beam or around the beam towards the ground. And take a few minutes here just to settle, to allow your breath to settle, become a bit deeper and longer. And as you do this, I'll remind you of the parts of the shoulder, the parts of the body that make up the shoulder. Here, the shoulder blade and the upper arm bone, the humerus, the clavicle or collarbone, and the rib cage. And a lot of the muscles, or some of the muscles from the shoulder blade attached to the middle spine or thoracic spine. So we'll be working all of those areas today. Feel free to pause the video at any point where you want to spend a little bit more time with a particular movement or just resting. And we'll begin. So Ian, with your arms long by your side, I'll just have you draw both arms up to the sky, palms facing in towards each other and extending out through your fingertips. And as you inhale, lift the arms and hands and fingers up towards the sky. And as you exhale, just drop the shoulders back towards the ground, keeping the arms straight. So do that a few times with your breath. And each time that you drop the shoulders down, make sure the beam is centered between the shoulder blades and you can hug the beam on that inner aspect of the shoulder blade, just to kind of get your positioning and to start to feel the shoulder blade itself. So can you feel that hugging of the beam? Yep, okay. So now we're going to begin to move the arms in a forward and back. The arms will come down by your side, kind of in the starting position. And as you inhale, you'll bring them back up to where we just were, palms facing in, and maybe just a little bit overhead towards the floor behind you. And as you exhale, you'll drop them back down by your side, or slowly lower them back down by your side. Now I'd like you to continue with this movement following your own breathing. So inhaling, arms up and over, and exhaling, your arms long by your side. And if you don't like that breathing pattern, just keep an awareness of keeping your breath very comfortable and easy as you continue to move. And the arms can begin to, they'll maybe just naturally start to go a little bit further towards the floor behind you. But you really want to feel into the shoulders, and when you feel an increase in sensation, go into that a little bit, but not so much so that it really increases the sensation, and then back down. I'm going to add in here, Ian, of this beam, the travel beam, and you can continue that movement holding the beam or a strap. And what this does is it just tends to keep one arm, well, both arms in alignment so that one arm doesn't go closer towards the floor than the other arm. So that's the first movement. So when you come down, I'll remove the beam. The next movement is the snow angel movement. And I'd like you to learn how to inner spiral and outward spiral your shoulders. So if you place your palms down onto the ground, Ian, that'll be an inner spiral. And then as you rotate your palms up towards the sky, allow that rotation to travel all the way up into your shoulders. And then again, yes, good. And then when you inner spiral, taking the palms down to the ground, that'll also happen from the shoulders. Okay, so do that one more time. Outward spiral, or opening up the chest and shoulders. And then an inner spiral where arms come back. Good. All right, and then just rest there. Now, if you think of making snow angels in the snow, you'll just lift your arms just slightly off the ground and then turn the palms up as you sweep your arms up to shoulder height, maybe a little higher. Sorry, along the ground. Snow angels, yep. And then sweep them back down by your side. Palms to the ground. Good. So continue with that. Again, keeping the spine very comfortably resting on the beam, not letting the ribs pop up at all. And you can just gently touch the floor or let your arms just hover above the floor. I sometimes just drag my baby fingertips along the ground so I'm kind of aware. So with this movement, some people may come all the way up and overhead with their arms to touch, and some people may just be able to come up to shoulder height. It really depends on what's going on in your shoulder right now. But we're trying to maintain as much range of motion as we can. And it often feels good to inhale as the arms come up and exhale as the arms come down. So we'll do one more, and that's our second movement. Good. And then we'll bring your arms into a T. Good. This is a third movement, and we'll bend at the elbows so that the forearms are pointing up to the sky and connect index finger and thumb. And here we're going to draw the index finger and thumb toward each other over the chest. And so that the fingers touch. And then the arms come back to their starting position. Elbows on the ground, forearms up to the sky. And connect that with your breathing. So as you draw the hands together, you're inhaling. And as you release them to the ground, you're exhaling. So some people may go a little faster, some people may go a little slower, depending on your rate of breathing. And next, you can try to bring one arm in front of the other and kind of cross at your chest. One arm in front, yes, good. And then as you exhale, back to your starting position. And you can switch. Next time, bring the other arm in front and cross. And back to your starting position. So it's equally fine to just stay fingertips touching or crossing arms, alternating arms, which one is closer to you, and feel and connect with shoulder blade movement on your back body as you do this. Okay, we'll do a couple more. Okay. So leaving your arms now all the way to the ground and bending your knees one at a time. Bring your feet to the floor and bring your feet together and your knees together. We'll begin a twist because we want to involve the spine. The thoracic spine is part of our shoulder, or helps with movement in the shoulder. So as you just gently drop your knees towards one side, doesn't matter which side you start on, turn your head in the opposite direction. And then inhale, head and knees back to center. And exhale to the other side. So knees come one way, head goes the opposite way. Inhaling back to center. Nice smooth movements that follow the breath. So the movement takes the whole of your inhale, the whole of your exhale. I like to allow my head to loll off to the side. And it just brings a nice stretch to the side of my neck. So you can try that, see if it works for you. And you'll feel your spine moving across the beam underneath you. So taking a little pressure off certain points, adding a little pressure to other points. So just enjoy this movement. You don't have to go as far as Ian is going with his knees. You might just go like a foot one way and a foot the other way. See what works for you. Awesome. And then we'll bring everything back to center. Bring your arms long by your side, and knees can stay bent and separated hip width. So just take a couple of breaths here, Ian, and notice how your shoulders are feeling, your arms, your neck. It's always good between movements to check back in and just notice any changes or differences based on those movements to find which one works for you. The next movement will be a bridge, a rolling bridge, I call it. And so we want the heels in a little bit closer to the buttocks, and the feet will be hip width apart, and the knees will also stay hip width apart. And the first part of the movement involves lifting the hips up off of the ground. So if you just want to do that. So it may just be a couple of inches, and then rolling the spine back down. And we want to keep our feet pressed into the floor, our toes pressed into the floor, our heels pressed into the floor as we do this. To get up into the thoracic spine or the middle spine, it's helpful to bend the elbows and bring the elbows kind of tucked in by your side waist and reaching up through the fingertips. And then as you lift the hips off the ground, so go ahead and lift, press the elbows and upper arms into the ground and try to lift the upper spine off the mat too. And then lower down, and arms can come down. As you inhale, arms come up, hips come up, spine comes up, press arms into the ground. Good. And then exhale, roll down, and hands can come down. Okay, so when you're ready, inhaling, just gently pressing arms in, focusing on lifting up through the upper spine, and then letting it roll down. Good. So this one you can do more times. I really like this one. It's very good for creating strength through the glutes and the back body. And adding in the arms helps with that lift and almost a gentle back bend through the upper spine where we tend to get very rounded and stuck. Good. And then just relax at the bottom, Ian. So we're moving into our final few shoulder focused movements. We're going to start with the arms wide at shoulder height. This is called an open heart vinyasa, and I just like to, be aware of your arms spread and touching the ground. And as you inhale, take the arms up towards the sky, palms facing each other, and bring the palms together into prayer. And then allow the hands to come down to the heart, thumbs touching the sternum. And then take the arms open wide again, touching the earth. Good. So as you inhale, arms come up to the sky and come to prayer over the chest. As you exhale, thumbs come to touch the breastbone or sternum. As you inhale, open the arms wide, arms touching the floor. And then exhale, arms overhead. And then inhale, hands to heart. And exhale, arms wide. So the breath changes a little. Just rest here for a moment because we're just doing a cycle of 3 movements. But just allow each movement to take up 1/2 of your breath. The other option is as you inhale to bring your arms overhead, a little bit like the snow angel, and bring your hands into prayer overhead, and then slide the prayer hands down over your face to your breastbone or center of chest, and then open arms wide back to the floor. So we'll do this one a couple of times. And so you're back to the first one. Yeah, good. Over and then down and then wide. So you're thinking of that snow angel now, sweeping the arms up and bringing the hands to prayer. And then exhaling down, thumbs to sternum. So this, if it isn't comfortable for your arms to go, you can continue on to go overhead. And you'll see that for Ian, he wants to just lift his arms up off the ground to bring them to prayer. That's fine. You know, some people can sweep their arms all the way up along the ground, right to the beam, and then bring their hands to prayer. But if you're a little bit limited through the shoulders, it's fine to lift the arms off the ground. So see which one works for you. So the next time you bring your hands to heart, just stay there and turn your palms onto your chest, one palm on top of the other. And I'm going to slide a block underneath your elbows. Okay, good. And you can decide if you'd like to take your legs long. And feel your hands over your heart center. And breathe into your hands. And let the energy from your hands transfer back into your body. That loving attention of the hands, the energy of the hands. Have the blocks positioned or a blanket or pillow underneath your elbows so you can just allow the shoulders here to soften and relax down. And take several breaths here, just thanking yourself for your practice, for paying attention to the shoulders and giving them an extra little bit of love. The beam is wonderful for shoulder work because it helps us to keep the rest of our body very still and just focus on the movement of the shoulders themselves. And I always like to end my practice by rolling off of the beam and coming to rest on the earth, on the ground itself. So I'll take out these. You can roll to one side, Ian. I'll remove the beam. Come to rest here. And I would suggest you take 10 conscious breaths here before rolling to your side, sitting up, and carrying on with your day. So thank you so much for watching this video. We'll continue to move through different areas of the body, and I hope you'll continue to learn with me. Thank you.